My ex and I have two girls together, tweens. We separated when they were 6 months and 2 years old. Divorced 2 years later and he remarried a year later. I've never gotten along with his wife because she seemed convinced that she's my kid's mom. It's only gotten worse since I remarried and moved away. I tried to get primary custody of the kids when I moved. Still, both the kids asked to stay with their dad and their lawyer argued that they'd have to share a room with my stepkids and go to public school at my house. In contrast, their dad has a house triple the size of mine where they'll have their own rooms and they go to a good private school, so I got them every other weekend. Their stepmom used to contact me constantly about foods they like or don't like or are sensitive to, not wanting the kids to have to share their toys, and keeping an eye out for teasing by my stepkids. Nothing happened, my younger daughter is just sensitive, and using something like a nightlight or white noise machine at night. Every time I told her to back off, I knew what I was doing with my own kids, but she never listened. Then she started picking them up instead of their dad. I told her I wouldn't let the kids go with anyone but their dad, and they actually took me to court over this and had my custody reduced to visitation at their house for almost 2 years. Now I have them every other weekend again, and I started to realise they call their stepmom mommy or mama. They don't call me anything, and they only call my husband by his first name. I tried to correct them every time they called her mom, but she'd give me a look and tell them it was okay and that they could call her whatever they wanted. I eventually told them not to bother visiting if they insist on calling another woman mom but won't even call me mom. They haven't visited or called in over a month. Part of me thinks they turn the kids against us and want to go to court for parental alienation, but part of me just wants to let go and focus on my new family. Am I the idiot for telling them not to bother visiting if they insist on calling another woman mom but not me? You are the idiot. Wow, congratulations on being less mature than your tween daughters. Sounds like you're jealous of your ex and stepmom and prioritise that jealousy over what's best for your kids. Refusing to let the stepmom pick up the kids is very telling, even when it means reducing custody of the kids. You seem to care that you are hurt, not that you hurt your own kids. It's sad. Info, what happened between the one girl and your stepkids? Nothing happened, she's just sensitive. She could use a little bullying from her step-siblings so she toughens up. Nothing to see here. No wonder these kids don't want to be around their mom. LOL, right? I told her that I wouldn't let anyone but their father pick them up. Yada yada yada. The court reduced my visitation to supervised visits at their house for 2 years. She must have done something buck wild. I actually sympathise more with obese stepkids. Who knows all the ways she's messing them up too with her toxicity and immaturity. Oh yeah, that part I was like, okay, what did you do? Even the initial custody of only getting them every other weekend is abnormal. There is no way it's just because the dad's house is bigger and they can go to private school because when he remarried, the youngest wasn't even in school yet. Oh wow, a woman is trying to learn things about her stepchildren so she can better take care of them. The horror. Good lord. She's not trying to turn your children against you, she's trying to be a good stepmother and you're punishing them. You know some step-parents actively try to get rid of their stepchildren. You sound bitter that they actually like this woman. And you're clearly omitting a lot of information, and even the information you're providing, at face value, demonstrates why the courts made the decisions they did. Beyond that, your own hard-headedness and hate for the stepmom is showing, and these kids are seeing it. Of course they don't want to be around you, nor call you mom. You're not acting like one. My husband and I have 2 daughters, a teen and a nearly adult. My husband and I were always very introverted. We met at work and I still don't know how we ended up dating, but I'm lucky we did. Both of us had a handful of friends, but after we married and especially once the girls were born, we sort of drifted from everyone. Our oldest is the exact same way. She has no friends, which she's glad about. She doesn't find socializing very fulfilling and prefers to keep to herself. We even hooked her up with a therapist a few years ago to make sure she was alright, and she's just introverted. Our youngest, on the other hand, is a social butterfly. She has about 8 best friends and seems to know her entire class. Since she got her first phone this year, she's constantly chatting and texting with people. The rest of us just vanish into our rooms after school or work. She'll spend all day just making small talk. We're supportive. Obviously, she has different needs from the rest of us and we need to meet them. The issue is we prefer a quiet house. The toddler stage was unbearable, and even our oldest likes the quiet. We want our home to be a calm, relaxed place. That tends to clash with a bunch of teens running around. So we allow her to hang out, or sleep over at her friends' houses, but we don't allow them to meet here. We've explained that it would be too disruptive to the rest of us and we want peace of mind in our home. She called us selfish and even called us a bunch of shut-ins. Now she's barely talking to us and even stopped speaking to her sister, who she's very close with. I would like to know if we aren't supporting her needs well enough, and maybe we are being selfish. You are the idiot. Introversion does not mean that one can't have social skills. I'm sick and tired of other introverts using their introversion as an excuse. You are actively failing your daughter as parents. Does she need to have friends over every day? No, but never. Come on. You are being selfish and you're not supporting her needs. Agreed. I'm an introvert, and not only did I survive my siblings' friends coming by, but I also loved having my friends over. I get that interaction can be draining, OP, but the kid is a teen. You don't have to watch them like a hawk. They'll hang out peacefully at that age, just check in once or twice, and the oldest can perfectly ignore them. Have you and your husband tried therapy? There's introverted and needing quiet, but to need quiet 24/7 and never allowing your other daughter to have friends over is not normal or healthy. That's bordering on asocial. Fellow introvert and shut-in here. A crowd of loud teenage girls is my idea of a living nightmare. It was a living nightmare in school, and it still is 20 years later. I understand where you're coming from, but you are the idiot. You're neglecting her needs, which could end up with her being shunned by her other friends, as she's unable to reciprocate their invitations. It doesn't have to be every weekend. It can have specified start and finish times. There can be ground rules about noise and acceptable behaviors, but you need to extend your home to her friends on occasion. Your kids need the freedom to express who they are in their own home, not just the one who takes after you. Update, we have some family activities. We'll watch a movie together and we have dinner together, but aside from that, not really. That's just the way we're wired. However, I get the picture. I'll talk to my husband about letting our daughter have someone over, maybe bi-monthly. And it's not just how I want it, it's the way 3 people are more comfortable. I mostly work from home, but there are days when I need to be in the office. I like to get out of the office ASAP, not just because I don't like being there, but because of the traffic. I have one co-worker named Megan who happens to be in the office on days when I'm there. Literally, every single time I see her, she wants to talk about her toddler daughter. I cannot think of anything more boring than a toddler getting a cold, let alone while I'm trying to get work done. That's why I refer to Megan as Megan. I don't initiate any conversation with her. She does. And any conversation is quickly turned into something about her daughter. The other day I had a major unexpected fire to put out. I was under a lot of stress. Megan comes around and asks if I want to see a picture of her daughter at her first gymnastics class. I snapped at her that I was trying to clean up this mess made by someone and needed to focus. She apologized. I later went to her desk and explained why I snapped and apologized if I came across as rude. I said, honestly, I don't care about all this kid stuff you're bringing to my desk. If I'm in the office, it's because I have to be in the office to do office work. You're just interrupting me with kid banter. She was offended that I basically told her not to bother me unless it was work related. I am way busier than her too. So, am I the idiot for telling my co-worker that I don't care about her kid? You are the idiot. If you're too busy to chat, just say you're too busy to chat. Maybe later I'm neck deep in something right now, or some variation on that is fine. Snapping and then apologizing for snapping by telling her you don't care about her stories is damn rude. I promise you're into plenty of things that other people think are boring as heck, but they tell you you're dumb to tell them stories and nod politely for the sake of having a pleasant working relationship. It's what grown-ups do. I disagree. Why would OP say, maybe later if they're genuinely uninterested and never want to hear about her child? It amazes me how people are so convinced the entire world is fascinated by and revolves around their children. Megan needs to read the room. Why would you ever endure even a second of conversation that's not tailored specifically to your interests or tell a small social white lie just for the sake of being polite to your co-workers and creating a pleasant work environment? First day on earth, huh? You may not be a sociable work person, but some people are. Co-workers are not trying to bother you, they're trying to be friendly. It might annoy you, but it's not a crime. There are better ways to put boundaries in place that don't involve being a total jerk. What gets me is when people show up with fake innocent like, telling Madge from accounting her baby is cute when in fact I think it's ugly. I've never heard of such a thing. A cute baby? Ew. Like, cool guy, we get it. You're the only person in the world with the willpower and uniqueness to ignore social norms. It's got a real, I'm not like the other girls, stank on it. I, 34 male, have a teen nephew, Luca. Luca is my sister Gwen's son. Gwen's relationship with Luca's dad ended when he was just a baby and his dad died soon after. Gwen was in a relationship after he died for 2 years, but that ended when she wanted her partner to marry her and adopt Luca before he'd remember life without him. I remember my sister being distressed about Luca not having a dad, and my parents and my other sister told her repeatedly that he needed a good mom who focused on giving them a good life, and she was enough. She didn't take it on board for at least another year, and then she suddenly declared she was going to be single until he was an adult. That lasted all of a year when she met her husband, Rich. Rich had his own 2 kids who were tweens at the time. Luca was a kindergartner when they met. Gwen and Rich were dating for a year before they married, and it was one of those dynamics where everyone could see it wasn't what they were presenting to the world, but they didn't care. Rich's kids didn't like that he remarried, and they took an extra special dislike toward Luca because he was forced onto them. It created a very painful dynamic for Luca. My family would step in and ask if Gwen was sure it was good for Luca. Rich's kids didn't seem too fond of Luca, and Luca seemed to be left out by the older kids. She would say they're slowly warming up or Rich is handling it. Luca and I really bonded around this time. He would come to me and I would let him vent and give her a place to share his frustrations and fears. He mentioned countless times that Gwen or Rich would get his siblings to bring him with them, and they would walk away and leave him behind in places like the mall or the park. I would help him tell Gwen and she would blow it off as nothing to worry about since Luca was fine. I told Gwen that Luca was really struggling to find his place when she was telling him one thing and the kids were telling him another. She told me he would listen to her since she's his mom. Last year, Luca came to live with me after he asked, and I'd spoken to some people who could help. It wasn't easy, but he's happier now. Through the legal fight for me to get custody, he was diagnosed with depression. Revealing his experiences in the home contributed to it. According to a court-appointed therapist, it had also harmed his self-esteem to an alarming degree. A few days ago, Gwen and I ended up in the same place, and she told me I interfered in something that wasn't my business. I told her that Luca deserved a better mom than her, and she needed to not talk to me when I was the one there for her son and not her. She burst into tears and left. She told our parents and my other sister. Our parents said I was right, but our other sister told me I should have walked away without saying that to her. Gwen even emailed me a whole letter saying why I was an idiot and how I'd broken her heart. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It can't be fun to hear you failed as a mother, but I imagine it's a lot easier than being a kid with a parent that failed them. Thank you for looking out for Luca. You told your sister the facts, and the facts are that she failed as a mother. So much to the point where a court would rather give her own child to someone else than have the child stay with her. And that's simply sad. I hope you responded to the email with, well, now you know what your son has felt for the past years with such a crappy mother. But I'm petty. You broke her heart. You? Not that her son is depressed. She should be ashamed of herself. Crappy parenting is one of those topics that should never be sugar-coated. A kid's whole life is at stake. So her feelings, in the grand scheme of things, don't mean crap. Only when she can fully admit that she sucked as a mom and failed Luca can progress be made. Both of your sisters are idiots. Both? Yes, both. Your other sister telling you should have walked away obviously doesn't care enough about Luca to stand up for him as you have. It feels like she was perfectly fine with him being treated like this. I'm so glad you helped him. The foundation and safety you've given Luca cannot be congratulated enough. He needed you, and you were there for him. I, male 22, have been friends with this guy Dan, male 22, since we were little kids. I've always had a crass sense of humour, it's never really been a problem, but I'm the irreverent comedian in our friend group. Again, all my friends know this. A few weeks ago I made a joke about Dan's girlfriend, well, really her sister. Dan went, dude, what the heck? And I laughed, but he kept saying that was super messed up of me. I basically said, well, thank you, and moved on, but he was weird for the rest of the night. A few days later he came and asked me to apologise for my joke, and I told him to screw off. Then he told our whole friend group that he wouldn't be hanging out with us anymore, and name-dropped me as the reason why. This got me super upset. The next time my friends and I were together, we were talking about it and the beer was flowing, so I texted his girlfriend some things I admittedly maybe shouldn't have. It wasn't anything super disgusting or vile, plus she didn't respond, so I didn't think anything of it. Well, fast forward to this last week and I learned that Dan sent screenshots of every politically incorrect joke I had to the dean of our school. Plus he sent my girlfriend stuff that I'd said about other girls and videos of me hanging out and messing around with other girls after my girlfriend and I had gotten together. I'm furious and I have no idea what to do. My work has a morals clause and he literally knows this, so he's risking my entire career over a simple joke. My friends are on my side here and they say he's totally in the wrong. I'm working on my girlfriend, but she obviously thinks I'm in the wrong right now. Am I the idiot? Edit, the joke itself isn't important. To be totally fair, I only texted his girlfriend because I drank too much and was upset, but I didn't antagonize her or anything. However, he's risking my entire job, career, and relationship on a single stupid joke instead of letting it go. Wow, you avoided saying the joke. That bad, huh? You are the idiot. The fact that you don't want to say what the original joke was or what you said to the girlfriend when you drank too much and was upset is rather telling. As for the whole job at risk thing, well, it sounds like the consequences of your own actions are coming back to bite you in the butt. Yeah, I'm curious about what the joke was too. Why won't OP say the joke? Suspicious. I have a crass sense of humour and everyone knows this. Could be translated to, I'm an idiot all the time and I expect people to accept this. Your sense of humour isn't funny, it's hurtful. You are about to get a reality check. If other people see the joke, don't laugh, and instead it leads you to being fired or your girlfriend breaking up with you. You were being gross rather than funny. Well, I raise a glass to Dan and all the women who can't take a joke. Dan sent screenshots of every politically incorrect joke I had to the dean of our school. Plus he sent my girlfriend stuff that I'd said about other girls and videos of me hanging out and messing around with other girls. Dan is a freaking rock star and a hero to women who have to put up with idiots like OP everywhere.